Hey Ringside crew, welcome to the internationally known Dudes at Ringside podcast. And now here's your host, Joe Panther III.
Hello there, wrestling fans, and welcome to another episode, might I add, the opener for West Coast Wrestling Month on the internationally known Dudes at Ringside podcast. Again, I'm Joe Panther III. I feel like double today. Yeah. Keep repeating words. But tonight we have a ring announcer that you all definitely need to meet. Introduce yourself.
Well, hello, Dudes at Ringside crew and everyone. My name is Diana Sandoval, and yeah, I'm here on West Coast Month. Hey, represent West Coast. Thank you for having me so much.
Awesome. So, as a ring announcer, do you have to have the same exact training as all the wrestlers? Do you go into training, or are you just a ring announcer? How does that work?
Well, me personally. So the way I got into ring announcing is definitely not a common thing, I don't think, or maybe it is. I don't actually know. So, long story short is I am a pro wrestling girlfriend. My partner is a pro wrestler. So, I'm at an indie show once, and they just forgot to book a ring announcer, I guess. And so they were like, "Hey, you're G Sharp's girlfriend. Do you want to try this?" And I was like, "Sure." And I've never been afraid of speaking, public speaking or anything like that. So it's just in my head was a very simple formula. It's where are you from? How much do you weigh? Do you have any nicknames? What's your name? And that's pretty much it. So that's all the information I gathered, and I went out and I did it. And I guess people liked it, and I found out I really liked it. So I just went ahead from there. But no, if you're looking for pro wrestling training to be a manager, a ring announcer, or a pro wrestler, of course, you have to find a good school, is definitely what I've been told. So go ahead, find a good school, and just start from there.
Awesome. So as a ring announcer, is it tougher to say because you can probably get the tongue twister last names, the Latin names? Who's the easier names to say? The American wrestlers' names or the Latin wrestlers' names?
Definitely the American wrestlers. Yeah, definitely just the American wrestlers. Both are pretty easy for me personally because I grew up speaking Spanish. So Latin wrestler names I got. The thing that trips me up sometimes is actually the cities where people are from. So that's what messes me up. So this past weekend, I know we're filming this in advance for West Coast Month, but so this past weekend, I did a show called New Tradition Lucha Libre. I do it every month. It's one of my favorite shows to do. It's out in Palmdale, California, and then sometimes it's out in Los Angeles, California. But so I did the intro for this guy named Galeno del Mal. And if you don't know who he is, he's actually Dr. Wagner's son. So big lucha legend, and then obviously his son is also up and coming and doing great. But he's from a place in Mexico, and I can't even remember the name right now because it was so difficult for me to pronounce. But he and I talked after the show, and he liked my ring announcing, so I guess I pronounced it correctly. But it's just the names of the cities that really mess me up. I always try to get the name right, the name of the actual performer right, but the names of the cities mess me up.
That messes me up too sometimes when I'm doing interviewing these wrestlers, I'm just that's why I say, how do you say your name before I screw up the intro? Because I've done that in the past, and they're like, oh, you can do the intro. Joe always does the intro, and they're like, oh, how do you forget? You don't understand when the intro's going and the thing says record or live in the corner, I have that name right here. And it's just like, I'm like the little yellow dog from Up. It's like, I'm here. Squirrel. It's like, and then I do my intro, and it's like, and now, and give a warm to the Ringside. Welcome to Squirrel.
Yeah.
Yeah, I introduce yourself. They're like, you just totally just, bruh. You just totally tossed me the ball and said, run to the linebackers and introduce yourself to the live crowd. What?
No, that's why I always have to have like note cards on me up there because I will forget. I will forget everything. I have to have my index cards because if not, it's gone. I don't know where I'm from. I don't know where you're from. I don't know your name. I don't know anything. So I will glance at my note cards the second before I say it, and then it's all good.
And it's bad because people are like, but Joe, the name of the on StreamYard, the name's like right in front of your face, and I'm just like, I guess my glasses are really dirty because I don't see anything. My glass, it's like I see the name and I'm just like when on what's it called, Adam Sandler's movie, when they asked him how do you spell risotto, and he's like Rarudo. No, it says risotto. And like that's me every time, every time I'm doing that. So when you like, do you prep? Like you said, you talk to like the wrestlers, ask them about their names. So like, do you have any fun stories from like shows that you want to talk about tonight?
Oh my gosh, the amount of stories that I have, the amount of stories that are in just indie pro wrestling in general. I'm sure you can ask anyone and they just have millions of stories. Gosh, off the top
Nothing
of
that
my
would get you
head.
in trouble.
Yeah, nothing that'll get me in trouble, nothing that'll get them in trouble. No, I've always been really fortunate enough to be in like really safe spaces, really like fun spaces. Nothing ever like super sketchy. And if something super sketchy were to come up, I would probably not ever work with them ever again. Um, but oh goodness gracious, there's been so many, and I've made so many friends off of this. Like just the sheer amount of fun that we have backstage just messing around a lot of the time is really fun. I remember I pulled this prank once on Hammerstone. If anyone knows, obviously we all know who Hammerstone is. He's on TNA right now, like he's killing it, he's doing great. So he was doing again New Tradition Lucha Libre in Los Angeles. He's the heavyweight champion currently there, and I remember getting the card and walking past him, and he goes, "Oh, is that the card?" And with just the most believable face, I just go, "Yeah, you're up first, so you know you want to get ready." Keep in mind, he's the heavyweight champion, so he's thinking, "Oh, I'm main event," and I'm like, "Yeah, you're first, so you know, get ready." And he goes, "Wait, are you serious?" And I'm just like, "Yeah, you're number one. You're opening the show. Let's go." And he was like, "Oh," and then I was like, "No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. You're main event." And he's like, "Oh, you."
Like you doubling me, they WWE'd me. They gave me the first match of the night. It means you're losing the belt. That means you're in the first. Here we go. They WrestleMania 35 to you like Brock. Like they
Yeah.
put the first match, you lost the first. Fun fact, sorry, spoiler alert, if you haven't watched WrestleMania 35 at MetLife Stadium, Brock Lesnar was the first match. And it
Yeah.
wasn't even supposed to be. It was supposed to be in the main event, and they flipped it on everybody. So we all were like, they're going, why is Paul Heyman coming waddling down the aisle? Why are we hearing Brock Lesnar's music? And why did someone just cut off Hulk Hogan in his whole little intro? So yeah, I can imagine
Was that the one with Brock Lesnar and Seth Rollins?
yes, when he beat him in the first match.
Yeah. I was just listening to Becky Lynch's book, and I guess that was like Brock Lesnar's call or something. Allegedly. This is from what I'm remembering from Becky Lynch's book. But like, yeah, something like that. I guess he believed me. I guess Hammerstone believed me, and he just started freaking out a little bit because he was eating like his chicken and rice because he always brings his food. He's a very, very healthy man. Very focused man.
Rice. And I hear a lot of never fried. It's always rotisserie chicken, like
Yeah, it's always grilled. It's got to be grilled.
I would be like crying. You'd be getting TikTok with the fake tears coming down my eyes with the violin. I officially retired from eating all meat. This is horrible. Seasoning. Latin. I'm Latin. There's no seasoning on here. No like splash of yum. Kind of like nasty. I'm retiring from life.
I didn't get to look at
Everybody.
his chicken, but like similar to you, I really like mine seasoned. So
I would be like, Mom, can you come to the wrestling show? I'm standing behind you, Joe. Stop texting me. Mom, did you bring me? No, you didn't. I feel like an idiot saying that. Anybody got any seasoning? Go
yeah.
to the food court in the wrestling event. Do you have any seasoning back here for this, please? I'm dying. No, you can't. It could be food because it's unsanitary. No, you have to. Please, I'm dying. So,
But
like,
yeah.
yeah. So when like the week of it, like a show, do you like when you travel a lot to different like states and stuff like that? Or are you based to just in the one area?
Well, right now I am doing mostly just Las Vegas and Southern California. I would love to go anywhere else also. Like I am open to traveling or bringing myself anywhere. This is for me like this is my favorite hobby. This is my favorite thing I like to do on the weekends. So I would love to go anywhere. I'm originally from Northern California, so I would love to do something up there. Um, if anyone's listening, you know.
There you go.
But right now, I'm mostly doing Las Vegas, of course, which is where I live, and then Southern California with stuff in Palmdale, stuff in Los Angeles, and stuff in Chatsworth. So I'm open to any new things. I did do a show recently in Arizona, and that was really fun as well. I'm looking forward to going back anytime they are willing to have me. Um, so yeah, I'm open to travel anywhere.
So when you like travel for these shows, do you have to like pack a lunch and like wait to like the night that night to eat dinner, or do you like wait to eat dinner like the end of the show?
I personally do have this horrible habit of like hopping myself up on caffeine before shows and then just living off of that high until the very end of the show.
No.
It's bad. It's really bad habit. Do not recommend to anybody. But so whenever I travel for shows, I just kind of try to be smart about eating out. Whenever I travel, it's also with my boyfriend, who is a pro wrestler. If anyone knows him out there, Gregory Sharp, G Sharp. He's also West Coast based, of course. But we mostly travel together for shows. We are booked together often, which is really cool. So we'll travel together. We'll maybe, obviously always pack water and then maybe like snacks or something for the road. And then we'll do the shows. He generally likes to eat before the shows. I don't, just because I feel bloated and I'm just like, I don't feel like doing that. I'll just have some coffee or before it was like energy drinks,
Oh
not
god.
anymore. But mostly it's just coffee, and then we'll do the show, and people at the shows are usually incredibly nice, and they'll offer me like water and seltzers and stuff like that throughout the show. And then after the show is when I get to eat.
Like what is your go-to food after like a show? Do you go for like more like what is like your favorite food to eat after a show?
My favorite food, if I'm feeling okay with it, like it depends on my mood really, but most of the time, I'll never turn down Mexican food. I will never turn down like some good tacos or In-N-Out. I usually get with the lettuce wrapping on it. It's so good. It's so, so good. I love In-N-Out, but not the bread at In-N-Out. The bread at In-N-Out tastes weird. So I get my burger lettuce wrap and that's delicious. Those are the two main things that I really like, though.
So you said Mexican like tacos. Is it the local place or is it
Yes.
Taco Bell? Which one is it?
God no, God no, not Taco Bell. I've actually never had Taco Bell before. It just, as a fast food place, it never like enticed me to go in. But local like street tacos, all about that, all about
Yo,
that all day.
let's do some name drops. Is there any like taco trucks or like any like local place in California that you want to name drop tonight on the Dudes at Ringside podcast?
Sure, yeah. So there's this one in the valley called Tacos Tacuba, and they're a little taco truck, and it hits every single time. So
Mm.
good.
Do a
Tacos
banger every
Tacuba.
time.
I'm sorry?
So pretty much it's a banger every time.
Oh yeah, 100%. They never miss. So that's my favorite spot to go to.
Mm.
Any place that looks like they have a lot of people around it is usually a good sign. You never want to go to the street tacos where there's nobody around it, because I mean, if nobody's there, why would you go there, right? So always
Totally.
go to the little taco stands with a lot of people around it, because that's how you know it's good.
Mm, that's true. Yeah, I love food here. Dudes at Ringside. I'm a big foodie, so like you'll see on the Joe Panther Variety Show on YouTube, which I hope you all are subscribed. Because if you're not, there's a button down there that you can make turn yellow and explosions come out of it. It's called subscribing, and the like button. Definitely give this episode a big like. Yeah.
Absolutely.
So in closing, like if there's if you want my fans would like to follow you on social media, how can they find you?
Oh, well, you can find me on Instagram at unorthodox.diana. That's Diana, Diana. And that's pretty much all I have. I think I have a Twitter still, but I don't really use it. Yeah, that's where you can find me, is my Instagram. That's where I post all the shows that I'll be at, all the really cool Las Vegas West Coast shows. I do a lot of shows like I do a lot of Pride Style here in Las Vegas. I do backstage interviews for Grap House. Sometimes I announce for future stars of wrestling. And of course, Big Valley Wrestling, I'll do their announcing. And Versus Pro Wrestling is having their Level Up Expo soon. So I'm very excited to do that. Make sure to give all of those a follow, because if you're not watching West Coast Wrestling, you are missing out.
I gotta take a trip to the West Coast. I've had so many people that I used to work with back in the day that I haven't talked to in years. Like East Bay Pro Wrestling, a lot of the wrestlers from there have been dying to come back on. I did a spotlight with them back in the day, and their Instagram person was on, and we had a blast. I had an interview with the Candy Girl, not the one you know, the original Candy Girl from East Bay Pro Wrestling. I was supposed to work with the Candy Girl, but she couldn't do it, or scheduling, or she doesn't really do podcasts, but I would love to interview her. She looks like she seems like such a doll. She seems like such
Oh,
a
yeah.
she
Super sweetheart. Yeah, the sweetest thing. They don't call her the sweetest thing for nothing.
tell her you hung out with Joe Panther the third, and he was as sweet as smelling a bag of Skittles. Candy. So she needs to know, if she wants to send Joe, I'll send her stickers. She needs to know what kind of candy to send Joe as a treat. I love Skittles and Twizzlers.
Skittles are really good. I don't know about Twizzlers. I'm not sure about that one, but
Snack. I
Skittles
work in
are
a senior home. How do you find snacks to sneak around when you don't want anybody to know you leave in a sink? I'm just like Twizzlers. You can't. How can you? Here we go. A fun fact. How do you have Skittles in your pocket if you're working? You'll get caught. You'll be like, oh no!
Oh no, my Skittles.
like I'll be like, with my scrubs, the pockets are sideways, so I'll be putting my hand in my pocket to sneak a Skittle out, and like.
They're all gone like marbles.
They'll fall out of my pocket. You can just go like this. No one will see you unless there's some mean people that are sitting in the room with you and like, give me your Skittles. Rip them back.
That's fair. That's fair. I'll give you that one for Twizzlers.
So before we go, if there was any like kids, like the younger ones, like the 18, 19-year-old that have been watching wrestling and they want to join you and become like an announcer or a manager, or even think about becoming a wrestler, what kind of advice would you have for them?
The same advice that everyone gives, honestly, is truly the best advice, and that's find a good school. Find a good school with a good name, and don't ever, if this is something that you truly, truly want, go to training. I know it sounds obvious, but a lot of people apparently just don't do it. So just, especially if you want to become a wrestler, oh my goodness, it takes so much training. So go to training, practice your craft, constantly. Don't be afraid to shoot ideas off of people because the people around you are there to support you, of course. So and just don't give up. Like, you got this. You can do this. There's a lot of things that I've been able to do, and a lot of people that I've been able to meet because of pro wrestling and just this industry. So if this is something that you really want, you can do it. And if you think no one believes in you, Diana Sandoval believes in you. So there you go. And I'm sure Joe Panther the third does, or is it? I'm sorry, the third. Yes, of
Yes.
course. Joe Panther the third
Yeah.
believes in you as well. So go for it.
I was once that kid. I was a little disabled guy that watched pro wrestling, was so knowledgeable. And 4 years ago, I started this podcast with another person. He's like my partner in crime, and he wanted to go solo, so he went solo. And now I go to wrestling shows sometimes. I have to wear my red glasses because they'll be like, "Who you?" So I get my little mustache combed up with a little red blue coat on, and people are like, one guy actually said Mr. Panther. I was going, no, he's Mr. Panther. I'm the son of Panther.
Yeah.
My dad's like a chauffeur, so I'm like, no, he's Mr. Panther. I'm just son of Panther, so I'm like the junior. So it's like, hey,
Yeah.
Panther and Junior Panther, and then
Yeah.
no, you're Mr. Panther, and I'm just going, Dad, security, take him, knock him out. All right, I'm dead. No, don't. My Puppet Panther would never hurt anybody. Okay. Thank you so much, Ms. Sandoval, for coming on the podcast. It's so awesome to have you on, and happy to have you help me open West Coast Wrestling Month. I'm Joe Panther the Third,
I'm Diana Sandoval.
and we will catch you in the next one.